we come to the part here where some people who don't have power tools get a little, it's kind of a hurdle for them. So I want to tell you a little bit about what you might think of to plan for this step, because what we have here is some ledges of wood that overlap. The soundboard overlaps the side a little bit, and the back overlaps the side, and so you have these thin edges that need to be taken down flush with the sides. And it's not very, not very thick wood, but the soundboard especially is hardwood, and so it takes a little work to get it down. So I'll give you some ideas. So if you don't have power tools, you're going to need some very coarse sandpaper, or maybe a coarse rasp file type thing to work this wood down flush. And even if you have a nice coarse one like this, it's going to take you quite a while. And so a lot of people don't have the patience for that. Here's another option. You can take some 50 or 60 grit sandpaper and wrap it around a good hand-sized block of wood that's easier to hold on to, and you can work it like that. But it'll take a lot of scrubbing to get it down. What we do with sandpaper, or with sanding blocks, is we take a block like this. It's about 1.5 feet long maybe, and 3 inches wide, and we take a coarse sanding belt, cut it apart, and glue it along the board here. Glue it right to the wood, and another one on the other side. And it's like a 50 or 60 grit sandpaper on a block like this. And that will take the wood down, but it'll be a long process. You'll scrub for quite a while. The nice thing about the sandpaper from a sanding belt is that it's a cloth back paper, and so it doesn't wear out like paper backed sandpaper. So a belt sanding sandpaper is much stronger and lasts much longer. If I were doing this, and didn't have enough time to go through all this work, I would borrow a power sander, say either an orbital sander like this, or a belt sander would work well. Here I've got 50 grit sandpaper, and I can just work this if I just hold that in place, the tool will do the work for me. Now it's still going to take a while to get all the way down each side, but it's not a lot of elbow grease. The tool does the work for me. The ideal tool, however, is a router. And if you don't have a router, maybe you can find somebody who does have one, or if you don't know how to use it, you could ask a friend or a neighbor, a family member, if they can help you with this part of the project, because a router will do this job in 5 minutes. And I'll show you how it works. You use a flush cutting trim bit here, and it just rolls along the edge of the side of the box here, and it cuts whatever hangs over. It cuts it off. trims it right off.
So I just did that 24-inch section there, and it's flush. It'll still require a little sanding, but now it's a doable amount, and you can just work a little bit here. Actually, I wouldn't bother doing too much sanding here now, because you've got some trim pieces to put on along the edge first, and then you can go back and do your sanding, sand everything flush that way. So now the router doesn't do very well at the very end here, where the wood is at an angle, but you can work that with sanding block or by hand, or a electric sander. This end here, though, should work quite well. You can trim off quite a lot of excess overhang with your router here. The router follows whatever contour is below it. The roller rolls right along the edges here. So if the ends of the sides stick up just a little bit, well, then you'll find the same shape showing on your back panel or your front panel. And that's fine. You can just work that down by hand later with a hand sanding block. So that's how we trim this box. And frankly, we've had some customers who just are not skilled enough, or they don't have the workshop to do this part of the project, and so they're very happy to buy the partially assembled kit, where all of this box is put together, and then all they have to do is varnish or put a stain on if they want, whatever. And that's certainly a good possibility for those people who don't have tools and aren't really interested in doing all this building and handwork.